organisation called Acorn, and we represent communities and tenants and fight for better living conditions, whether that is like something to do with the bins or something to do with your housing. Today we're focusing on dodgy landlords. So we're going to build a house out of testimonials and stories about people who've had terrible experiences with bad landlords. We see this a lot as Acorn, particularly after the pandemic. It's going up and up and up. More and more cases coming in. And we want to call on the council to bring in a citywide landlord licensing thing so that they are better regulated, because at the moment you could be someone with multiple convictions for housing related crimes and rent a house out tomorrow. You could have assault charges brought against you and rent a house out tomorrow. We don't think that's right. So yeah, the council's got a budget meeting coming up in a couple of weeks, so we're calling on them to do the right thing and bring in this licensing across the city.
Everywhere we go, people always ask us, who we are, where we come from, so we tell them, we are Acorn, mighty Acorn.
Do they have selective licensing in Sheffield?
They do, yeah. There's been 2 areas that have had it in already, Page Hall and the Abbeydale Road area. These worked, we've already seen that these worked well. They brought in huge amounts of repairs to properties and some prosecutions brought against some landlords who are really not alright. So we think that there's been other cities that have managed to do this across their cities, like Nottingham, and we want it here too, because the quality of housing here is well below standard for too many people.
Yeah, because we have. I live in Rotherham, and we have selective licensing there. They brought it in a few years ago in a few places. I can't remember which places.
Yeah.
To me, it sounded like a very good idea.
Yeah.
I thought it seemed a bit unfair because some areas have it and some don't, and some people would have to. You know what I mean?
Exactly that. Yeah, we had a member of ours who was about 3 houses outside of the area in Page Hall. He had been complaining about repairs that needed to be done to his landlord for too long, and nothing was being done. When they finally sent someone round, they just ripped his kitchen out, didn't replace it, and left it like that. So he was left without a kitchen, and we went to the landlord to make demands and try to win that back for him.
Was it successful?
I think we managed to get some repairs for him, but it's too long. Going through the council is too long a process. He'd been trying to complain to them before he came to us, and nothing was being done.
So how long would it take to complain to the council, like to go for accommodation?
Personally, I've not done it, but it was long enough for him to seek help elsewhere through collective action, basically. Yeah.
So do you think of course? I just
What do we do with the dodgy landlords? What do we do with the dodgy landlords? What do we do with the dodgy landlords? Take away their license.
So do you think Sheffield City Council will pay attention to what you're doing today?
Well, they we've been running this campaign actually for maybe 4 or 5 years now. About 2 years ago, they were taking notice. We had a meeting with Paul Wood, the councillor who deals with housing and communities in Sheffield. We put forward our case, and he invited us to sit on a working group to look at different options for bringing upgrading and housing in Sheffield, and landlord licensing was one of them. So they are well aware of it and are taking it seriously already. But then we had general election and a pandemic, and various other things took a priority. So now that there was already a crisis in housing and tenants, but after the pandemic and during the pandemic, it's just got even worse. So we're here to make sure that doesn't, that these ideas don't fall by the wayside when they would really, really benefit so many people.
Have you come across many people being evicted because of the pandemic?
Yeah, we've had some eviction resistance. So if a eviction is unlawful and or unfair, which at the moment all evictions are unfair and illegal still just about. So yeah, we've seen some of that, and we've been out to protect tenants and stop evictions. But yeah, luckily they've extended the ban for a bit longer, but there's still things in it that make it unfair.
Yeah.
We've collected stories and testimonials of terrible experiences of bad landlords, things that have happened to people, everything from evictions, unlawful evictions, mouldy houses, harassment, assault, so many different things, and we're collecting them here to deliver them to the council. And we're going to build a house out of it.
Sounds like a very good idea. I wish you best of luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Everybody's going to be bringing boxes up to build a little house to show the council what tenants have had to be dealing with. So when we're ready, come and grab a box. If you've supplied a testimonial, find the one that's got your testimonial on it, and then join the orderly queue that will be going up to the stairs there. And then the builders will take the box and they'll build the house out of it. And then once you're done, come away and give some space and make sure you're joining in with the chants. And yeah, that's about it. Let's deliver this message to the council.
So this is a testimony that we were sent in anonymously by a member of the public, saying that the landlord kept it out of the oven for months, promising to replace it, but they never did, so in the end they have to fire it and this should be seen all the time.
Sorry, the mould and damp got so bad because originally it was on Joseph Lane.
You're locked in there?
Not quite.
So this is the completed house of personal stories, personal experiences of dodgy landlords. It's completed outside Sheffield City Hall. Let's just hope Sheffield City Council will take notice of it.
Tenants united will never be defeated. The tenants united will never be defeated. The tenants united will never be defeated. The tenants united will never be defeated.
Absolutely disgusting. And she was rushing me to obviously pay a deposit, and because I was in a situation where I needed to move out, I just felt like I had no other choice. So I paid her a deposit, which she said basically I didn't need to pay anything else until January. And later on, after I'd paid my deposit, she were demanding £570. Now, the bills were not even meant to be £570, it was only meant to be £450. So I was wondering where all these fees were coming from. I was making sure there was no extra fees, but she changed the contract. She made me sign an empty contract and then said that I signed for all these extra fees that I have no idea about. So I demanded for my deposit back, which she then put in a deposit protection scheme. I sent all my evidence and I thought they would back me, but they changed their minds and backed her instead. She's a fraud. Century 1 is a fraud, and every student, every individual needs to know this. that Acorn, all together, will protect each other, help each other. Thank you.
Sent our message to the council. We've built the house of tenant testimonials. We've let them know what our tenants have been dealing with from bad landlords in this city. And at a time when the housing is a public health crisis, they really need to be getting their act together. So we want to tell the council, enough is enough. You've got to stop allowing this kind of thing to happen. You've got to ban bad landlords. And we want to tell anybody else, get involved, join up with Acorn, and help us fight against bad landlords, help us stand up for each other. Thank you very much.
What would you say if someone watching this was living in a poor standard of rented accommodation? What did they ought to do?
If you tried to, you can come to us. We've got a Facebook page. We've got like our main national website. We've got branches all over the UK, so we've got a really good community of people who have either experienced it or have knowledge of poor housing and things like that. So you can just get information from online, or you can, if it's more serious and immediate, things like evictions, harassment, theft like of money, deposits, things like that. We have a member defence team that deal with those issues directly and quickly.